just want to welcome you today to the 33rd cohort of the Max Coding Bootcamp grads. Good afternoon to all of you. We thank you for being with us. Thanks for joining us today. I'm anxious for you to meet these MAXIMUM Bootcamp grads who have experienced dual languages, learning both Java and .NET. I'm going to let people in, see if I can multitask. So we have now graduated 277 boot campers, and we do have another boot camp that's going to be beginning in January. That'll also be a MAXIMUM boot camp. And, you know, as we've navigated this pandemic, we're starting to see a real acceleration in hiring this year compared to last year. And actually, after our last demo day, employers gobbled up our grads. They didn't last long in the job market. We're delighted that you're here today for this virtual boot camp. And whether you're first time with us today or a longtime friend of Max, whether you're a grad, a family member, some of the Max staff and employer, we're glad you're here. You know, they've worked so hard and they're nervous and yet they're very excited. I just want to give a shout out before I go any further, and that is to our president and CEO, Denise Bartik, who really pioneered this concept of the boot camps. And we just shout her out today. In an effort to just get these grads in front of you and really put all the focus on them, we've changed up this delivery a little bit today. I'm going to ask that everyone go ahead and turn off their cameras if they haven't already. And I'm going to turn this over to Greg Dowd, who is our senior instructor, so that you have an opportunity to meet our honored graduates. Greg?
Okay, thanks. And it's nice to meet all of you virtually. And I hope one day I can meet you in person if I haven't already. But I thank you all for attending. It's a great day. We have 17 people here who just worked their tails off for 13 weeks in what I consider a very difficult task in getting through this boot camp. This is the second boot camp, as Annette said, that we were teaching both C# and Java. And yes, there's a lot of similarities, but we wanted to make sure, and we had talked to different companies who said they really liked the idea of us teaching both those languages. Not that it's easy, but it allows these grads to go into shops who probably have some of both. And now those students can handle both C# and Java, whatever the needs of the company are. So that's great. I mean, it's worked out really well for us and all our students. So these students, as we start, will be doing their little power message, we call it, tell you about them a little bit. And they will also talk a little bit about technology or something in the boot camp. That was totally their choice and so on. All of the students did the Capstone project twice. Once in C# and one for Java. It's quite a task. It's a lot of work and so on. So I'm going to step aside and we're going to start with our students. And right after we make just one adjustment here, I think, and then you're going to be listening to Michael, will be our first student to talk. So.
Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Walker. I am a luthier transitioning to be a software engineer. For the past decade of my life, I've worked to build a guitar manufacturing company. A part of what we did was we did research and development. So we would bring in new machinery and figure out how to use it and how to incorporate it. And sometimes we couldn't find solutions, so we would build the machinery ourselves. After doing this for several years, this is when I became fascinated with how these machines worked and how these machines communicated. I am now a proud Max alumni, having graduated from their full stack boot camp. We have learned how to develop an entire application, both the back end and the front end, a 3-tier architecture. I have to say, it was exciting from the very first day to the very last day. But what I'm excited about today is joining your organization and helping you solve problems and accomplish goals. So as we all know, it takes individual commitment to make the team work. And I look forward to joining your guys' team. I'd also like to take a moment to talk about one of the many technologies that we learned in this bootcamp, Angular Framework. Angular Framework is a TypeScript-based web application builder designed by Google. There are many benefits to using Angular Framework, and I'll mention a few of them today. One of the best reasons to use Angular Framework is all the pre-written code. Our clients would like their products and they would like them to work. So let's go ahead and save a little time and use some of this pre-written code. The advantage of using some of this pre-written code is a very nice organized structure where we can develop clean, easy to read, and reusable code. Again, another way to save time. Speaking of saving time, it's also convenient as far as testing and testing for bugs. Nobody likes bugs in their software. So let's save time looking for them and spend time solving problems and getting these applications done. And finally, I would like to mention it increases the efficiency of the application by limiting the internet traffic to a one-page model. Don't take my word for it. There are many companies that use Angular. Some such companies, like international companies, such as PayPal and Deutsche Bank, or some of the heavy local hitters in the backyard of Cincinnati, Cincinnati Financial and TQL. It's clear to me that Angular is a very useful and robust tool. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. Thank you very much for your time.
Hello, my name's Elise Roth, and as a former journalist, I'm looking forward to combining my past experience with my new skill set as a software developer, and especially expanding on some of their shared aspects, like working with the team and generating ideas. I graduated with a degree in journalism from Northwestern University, and I've been working as a magazine writer and editor for the last 10 years. This year, I felt like it was time to seek out a new challenge, so I turned to IT and software development. And I'm so glad I did. It was a much better fit for my natural strengths, and it fed my love for puzzles and problem solving. One of those natural strengths is learner, and I think that's best demonstrated by the fact that I enrolled in this high-intensity full-stack software development bootcamp, where we learn Java and C#, SQL, Angular, TypeScript, JavaScript, and so many more. And I think the fact that I did these in 13 weeks shows that I can pick up new skills quickly. I'm so excited to continue to explore even more aspects of software development in my own projects and put my newfound skill set to work for an organization and helping them reach their technological needs and goals. And I had just mentioned that we learned both C# and Java, which has been mentioned a few times before. And that's actually a pretty unique aspect of a bootcamp that's this length. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the advantages of coming out of this bootcamp with both languages. I think we all know that the field is constantly evolving, and there's a ton of information to absorb at all times. So it's an obvious advantage to come out of a bootcamp with 2 general purpose back-end languages under our belt. But it's more than just a resume line. We also know that we're going to have to learn a lot of new technology and new languages once we get on the job. And so we've already demonstrated our ability to do that. So once we're out in the real world, we'll be able to do it again. And we were able to understand and learn the concepts of programming in 2 languages while learning 2 different syntaxes for both languages and understand what makes them different, and the environments that they operate in are different too. Another aspect that makes a great advantage that we are now dual lingual is that we're better at reading and understanding code, which makes us better at debugging and testing, which any software developer will tell you is a vital part of the process. So while quantity isn't always everything, in our case, we're coming out of this bootcamp as multilingual developers who have the agility to code in both languages, and we have the ability to pick up new ones quickly for those we haven't learned yet and are going to have to learn on the job. Thanks so much for coming today.
Hello, everyone. My name is Charles Ford, and I recently completed a full stack software development bootcamp at Max Technical Training. I am a Navy veteran with a background in commercial insurance underwriting, and I was just so ready to break into a new career. My choice, software development. As a detail-oriented person with a love for solving puzzles, software development really appeals to me. As an underwriter, I analyzed and used large amounts of data to determine a course of action on policies with risk consideration. Additionally, in both underwriting and my Navy career, teamwork was essential in order to accomplish mission goals. I will organically bring this experience in detail analysis and team contribution into a career in software development. One of my Gallup strengths is context. I know this will be useful in solving problems because knowing the context around a problem and what has worked in the past can provide solutions in the present. I'm enthusiastically launching into my career in software development, where I know I will bring great value to your organization with my education, background, and business acumen. I will also be presenting to you today on Scrum and Agile. What is Scrum? Scrum is a framework for adapting the Agile mindset in regards to project management. This means that it is based on an iterative approach as opposed to a waterfall approach. An iterative approach does things more incrementally and allows for more adaptation along the way. It requires frequent inspection, adaptation, and team collaboration, and it allows for the rapid delivery of high quality software. Scrum provides transparency, inspection, and adaptation through the use of the Scrum team following a set event cycle. The Scrum team consists of the following roles. There is the product owner who presents the requirements of a product. There is the development team who produces that product based on those requirements. And then there's the Scrum Master who manages the whole process, mediates between the product owner and the development team, and ensures that Scrum rules are being adhered to at all stages of the process. The Scrum events consist of 4 meetings. They are the sprint planning, which is a meeting of the entire team to plan out a block of work. Ideally, these are done in about 2-week blocks. There is the daily Scrum, which is a daily meeting of the development team to measure progress and identify any problems. It is no more than 15 minutes. There is the sprint review, which is a meeting at the end of the sprint, which is to present what the development team has accomplished. And then finally, there is the sprint retrospective, which is a meeting to review the past sprint and find out what improvements could be made to the process. These roles and events provide that desired transparency, inspection, and adaptation that will allow for a steady stream of high quality software to be delivered. Thank you, everybody.
Hi, my name is William Story, and I have recently graduated from a dual language full stack coding bootcamp through Max Technical. I have logged over 400 hours of hands-on experience, learned over 20 new technologies, predominantly SQL, C#, and Angular. With these skills, I built a purchase request system, which demonstrates comprehensive knowledge of these new technologies. This experience has been monumental. It has lit a fire inside me and has galvanized my passion for technology. One of my top Gallup strengths is individualization, which I believe is unique and critical to team collaboration. I have spent the last 10 years in a variety of different team roles across multiple industries, honing my natural talents of communication and adaptability. I am excited to couple these natural skills with my newfound technology and skills. I am thrilled to dive headfirst into an exciting new career and plant my roots within your organization. I wanted to speak to you today about one of the more exciting and seemingly magical aspects of coding, Entity Framework. Entity Framework is a popular data access technology because it is open source, cross-platform, and lightweight. It can serve as an object relational mapper, which means it can be used to pull data from databases to our working applications. This eliminates the need for most of the data access code that needs to be written. What this means is when you implement Entity Framework, you can generate entire pages of complex code you can generate entire pages of complex and tedious code with one line of code. This was instrumental in building our projects like our purchase request system. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to speaking with you again.
Hello, my name is Joel Leonard, and addition to my newly learned programming skills, I bring a solid career in human resources and a bachelor's degree in HR management. I first became interested in software development about 7 years ago. I was working in HR as an HR generalist in a nonprofit. There were 2 people in the HR department, and we were supporting 300 people. My supervisor was having triplets and would be on family medical leave for 3 months. During that time frame, we were tasked with our annual benefit open enrollment, which is a major undertaking for any size HR department, let alone an HR department of 1. I adapted to the situation by designing an online open enrollment website that virtually eliminated the need for paper forms. It would have been a disaster without automating the process. I realized how tech can make typical HR processes much more efficient. I soon began to automate many of our processes, including developing an applicant tracking system. As a veteran, I became aware of a program that would allow me the opportunity to participate in the Max Coding Bootcamp. During this coding bootcamp, I developed a passion for programming, and the idea that I could be building and enhancing web applications that contribute to an organization's goals is very exciting to me. I'm ready now to bring these skills and experiences to the table as a software developer. And my technical presentation is on the HTML and CSS technologies. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. The language consists of markers that indicate a start and stop point that content can be injected into, called tags. Here at Max, we begin learning HTML by lectures that familiarized us with the most commonly used tags and by designing web versions of our resumes along with other small projects. Then we transitioned to using HTML in the design of our Capstone projects in Angular. HTML is an integral piece of Angular that allows placement of the necessary building blocks of an Angular web application. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets, allows a web developer to distinguish between content and presentation, add a bit of style to their design. CSS provides methods to adjust the visual aspects of a project. Also allows for accessibility features to assist those who have obstacles consuming content online. Like HTML, CSS is an integral piece of composing projects in Angular. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Caroline Wilson, and I have just successfully finished the Maximum Technical Training Dual Languages Bootcamp, where I learned both C# and Java and had exposure to other languages and technologies such as JSON and SQL. I previously worked in the customer service industry, and I'm excited to start my career in software development where I can apply those experiences. Of all the career paths I could have chosen, I'm glad that I chose the ever-changing world of software development. In my previous positions, I have learned how to collaborate with others and to deliver what the customers really want. Additionally, I'm really good at thinking on my feet and dealing with high-stress situations, with the exception of public speaking. I am excited to put all those skills and more to use in my future career in software development. And then today I wanted to talk to you about my personal experience in the bootcamp. I came to this bootcamp excited and ready to learn about programming. I didn't have a lot of prior knowledge, but my father is a senior solutions architect, and he told me how good the job was and how well I would do it. Sorry, if I said I wasn't nervous about learning 20 technologies and languages in 13 weeks, I would be lying. The adage, drinking from a fire hose, has never felt more real. But thanks to the Max staff here with all their help, ensuring that we understood the material and providing as much support as possible, I am happy to say that we have all made it and that we are excited. I am excited, we are, to start our career in the IT world. I thank you all for listening.
Hello, my name is Matthew Kirkendall, and I just successfully completed this 13-week full stack coding bootcamp. Previously, I taught music for 6 years and graduated from the University of Cincinnati, earning dual degrees in education and performance. I enjoyed the active learning and complex problem solving that were involved in both being a musician and a teacher, but I want to apply them a little bit differently. I've had a lifelong love for computers and software and have some experience with programming going back to a course I took in high school where I learned some of the fundamentals of C#. I remember being struck then by the limitless potential of object-oriented programming, and it gave me the confidence I needed to take the leap of faith in enrolling in this boot camp. I've been delighted to find that my detail-oriented and analytical skills I used to hone my craft as a musician have translated seamlessly into programming and learning new languages. I look forward to using the discipline and precision I used as a musician to apply to programming projects for your organization.
Hi, my name is Alexander Kidd, and I also recently finished a full stack web development bootcamp that covered 20 technologies in 13 weeks. As a recent college graduate with a degree in economics, I'm excited to use these new technologies and the ones that I continue to add to my toolkit to help companies create new products and generate new insights from data. I have a strong background in communication and analytical thinking after competing on and coaching high school and college debate teams for around 8 years. The skills that debate fostered clear and precise communication, respectful collaboration, and on your feet critical thinking are perfectly suited to today's IT environment that requires effective listening, adaptability, and a strong drive to create new and innovative solutions to complex business needs. And I'm excited to put that to use.
All right, for the next part of demo day today, Alexander and I are going to present the Capstone project. So I'm going to share my screen. All right, so the Capstone project, the PRS or Purchase Request System, is a simple system that we built that allows a user to create an order of various products from various vendors to then be submitted to a reviewer to either approve or reject the request based on whatever merits the company may find for that request. And we're going to walk through this today through the model as though we were in a school district. I'm going to play the role of a principal building requests, and Alexander is going to play the role of a treasurer in central office reviewing my requests. So first, I'm going to log in to the system, put in my top secret password here. And you'll notice that as soon as we log in, this first screen that is launched is a list of requests. These are some that are already in the system. They don't really matter to us so much because we're going to be focusing on creating new requests. So I'm going to go up here to this create button. And in this next screen, you'll notice that there are a couple fields to fill in: description, where you're describing what the request is for, and then the justification, naturally, why this is a request that should be approved. So this request I'm going to make is for new computers. The justification is old ones are broken. Broken, not bad. There we go. Spelling counts. Okay, so the next thing you need to do is go into, you'll notice at the bottom here, the new request goes to the bottom of the list. It's set to new status and naturally has no cost associated with it because there are no items on it. So we're going to go into the lines here, and you'll notice at the top is an overview of the request, just as it was on the other page, a new status with no cost associated. So we'll go down to request lines, and I'm going to add some items. I'll click this create button. And then from a drop-down list here, I have various products from various vendors that are approved for use by the district. And I need to replace the computers in a computer lab in my school. So I'm going to order 20 of those. All the old ones are broken. I simply click the create button, and you'll notice that down here at the bottom, that quantity, price, and subtotal pop up. And then the grand total is here up above, which of course only matches the one line we have. And the status has been altered to modified as opposed to new. All right, I had a couple teachers who also complained that their smart boards weren't working. The custodial staff went in there and they weren't able to fix it. So I need 2 more smart boards, and we'll add that to the request as well. Now, as a principal, I've had a huge passion for esports, and I've really wanted to start an esports team at my school. So I'm going to go in here and add some supercomputers. That shouldn't be too unreasonable for the district. They ought to, no problem. 12 will do. Yeah. And as you'll notice, the grand total has jumped up by not too much of a margin here, only at another $100,000, $120,000, but it's okay. I'm sure central office will be all right with that. So now that I have filled out my request, there's nothing else I want to add. I'm going to go up here to this review button and click review. You'll notice after that happens, the status of the request has transferred from modified to review, and now it is automatically sent to central office for the treasurer who logs in to either approve or reject.
So most schools have a system that relies heavily on paper mail, internal mail to determine whether so that principals, teachers can send requests via the mail to a office that's going to review those requests. And the PRS system, the purchase request system, eliminates these sort of difficulties by moving this to an online process for someone like me, who might be a treasurer who's reviewing these requests. So we'll go ahead and log out of Matt's account, and we'll log back in under the treasurer account. After we get logged in, you'll see we have a reviews tab at the top here. So we'll go ahead and navigate to the reviews tab and see what's there for us. We go ahead and click on that, and you can see there is one request here. Now, I'd like to draw attention to how this page, the reviews page, is different from the request page. It's different in a couple ways. First, there's fewer requests here, and there's a couple reasons for that. First is that only requests that have been marked in review status show up on this page. So requests that are marked as modified, new, accepted, rejected, they don't show up here, only the ones that need to be reviewed. Second, if I were to create a request personally, it would not show up on this page for me. Another user would have to log on and view this page in order to see my request. So this page adapts to the user that is looking at the page and the requests and filters it so that you see what you need to see. Second, it has a different actions. On the other page, we had a detail view, an edit view, and a lines view. Here, there's only one action, it's review. Now, this is a hefty $140,000, so we're gonna go ahead, click, and see exactly what's going on here before we prove this. All right, we can see it's from Principal A, Matt. Usually Matt's requests are pretty reasonable, but this one is a little bit out of the ordinary. Let's take a look and see what's going on. Okay, 20 Best Buy base computers. It's reasonable. He needs to redo a computer lab. Technology needs updated. This makes sense. Second, he's got these smart boards, about $3,000 a piece. It's expensive. There's two of them. Once again, they need replaced. Two of them isn't unreasonable at all. He doesn't have a history of breaking these things especially fast. We can improve that too. But whoa, $120,000 for 12 supercomputers. I frankly don't know what to say. What does Matt think he's going to be doing with this? Is he using these for his accounting staff or the Excel spreadsheets? Like, what is he doing? Maybe it has something to do with the esports team that he tried to get approved at the school board last quarter, but didn't. We're going to go ahead and reject this because there's simply no way we can approve a request of this magnitude. We'll go ahead and click reject. It pops up a dialog box. In this, we're going to type too expensive, no supercomputers. Hopefully he gets the message. We'll go ahead, we'll click confirm reject. And now you can see that on the request page, the status of our new computers request has been changed to rejected. If we go ahead and we navigate to the reviews tab, you'll see that this request is no longer here because it is no longer in review. It has been in review. Now we'll go ahead and see how Matt deals with the heartbreak of not getting his supercomputers. I'll be back to you in a moment.
All right, so I'm going to log back in. This is the year. I know it. I'm going to get those supercomputers. But before I take a look at my request, I want to draw your attention to our navigation bar at the top here. You'll notice that when Alexander, our treasurer, was going in to do reviews, he had a tab that said reviews that he was able to click on. Regrettably, I am not a reviewer. I don't have that much power, so that tab does not appear for me. That's one of the other features of the system, that it distinguishes between various users and their privileges so that you can allow people to do exactly what they're allowed to do. So I'm gonna go down here and take a look. Status is rejected. This is outrageous. This is unfair. I've been wronged by central office once again. So I'm gonna go into the lines and see what the rejection reason is. Okay, I see up here, too expensive, no supercomputers. You know, when every other district in town is running an esports team, we're gonna look awfully silly, but that's, you know, don't come crying to me when that happens. But I understand. I will go ahead and delete the supercomputers off of the list. And you'll notice that the total has changed up here. The status has returned to modified as opposed to rejected. And I'm gonna go ahead and click review here and see if this is more palatable to our treasurer this time. And you'll notice the status returns to review. And hopefully this time I'll at least get some of the things I want.
All right, so we'll log back out of Matt and log back in as the treasurer. It's towards the end of the day. I'm getting ready to go home now. I just want to check, make sure there's no new requests I need to review before the end of the day. So we'll click on the reviews tab and see what's there for us. Oh, good. It's the new computers request from earlier. And it's $120,000 cheaper. That's a good sign. Let's click and see exactly what's going on there. All right. Well, it looks like what I'm expecting to see. It's the 20 base computers and the 2 smart boards. It's a good sign. This is fine. We'll go ahead and we'll click approve. And just like that, the request will be approved. It takes us back to the requests page where you can see that this request has been marked approved. And if we were to go to the reviews tab, you would see there that this request is no longer present because it has been marked approved. It's no longer in review. The purchase request system has a number of features which are very beneficial from an administrative standpoint. It allows for easy credentialing. So for example, when I come in and I review a request, the system knows who's reviewing the request. It would be easy to collect electronic signatures from the reviewer if that were something that was required. And so it makes it easy for the school district to comply with state and local laws in that way. It also reduces errors, for example, typos or failing to put information into a field. These things could cause significant delays in a system that didn't have the checks that our system has, but our system would never allow that request to be submitted in the first place, making it easier for all of the users. And it also tracks user product activities so that you have the analytics on who's making requests, what products are being requested, and how many. Useful information for sure.
One last feature we'd like to show off about the request system. So I'm going to log back into my principal account here. And I'm going to make a new request. The district has a policy that if the request is $50 or less, it automatically is approved and does not need to go to the treasurer's office for moderation. So I'm going to go ahead and make a new request and call office supplies, justification, we need pencils. All right. And just as before, our request has appeared here at the bottom. Status new, grand total of 0, so on and so forth. So I'm going to go into the lines here, and just as before, go down to request lines and start adding some things. So first I said I needed pencils. Let's do pencils. How about 20 of these? Create. Okay, not too bad. Let's add some reams of paper. How about that? How about 5 of these and see what happens. Okay, well, you'll notice I've gone a little bit above $50. So I'm going to go in here and edit the paper. Let's go down a couple reams. Save. Okay, and now you'll see that the total is $44.77 right underneath that $50 threshold that the school district has set for us. So I'm going to click the review button. And this time, instead of going into review status, you'll see it is automatically set to approved because it was below the threshold. And that just shows off some of the core features of the system.
In conclusion, as I hope you can see, this would be a valuable tool for any school district. Instead of drowning in a sea of internal mail, teachers, principals, treasurers can log into the system, make their requests, review their requests, and get everything done in a timely and easy fashion. We hope that you consider implementing this in your school district, and we thank you for watching this demonstration.
Hello, my name is Parth Patel. After successfully completing this vigorous 13-week maximum bootcamp, I learned both back-end and front-end technologies, learning multiple languages and tools, including but not limited to SQL, C#, Java, HTML, and JavaScript. I had taken a Python course when I was in 11th grade, and since then, programming had grasped my attention. Just having the power to create something that can affect people all over the world for the better was enough for me to want to pursue a career in software development. So once I found an opportunity at Max Technical Training to become a full stack developer. I took that opportunity to increase my knowledge in this field. I do have 5 years of experience working as a manager of retail sales workers on teams of 5 to 7. I was entrusted with all the responsibilities when it came to directly working with customers and employees. I also handle a lot of the finances and accounting regarding sales. In addition to all of that, I am multilingual. I can speak English, Gujarati, and Hindi. Working with others is a great strength of mine, and I develop chemistry with others very quickly and cooperate very efficiently. I plan on using my real-world experience and technical skills to become an asset for your organization as a C# full stack developer. Now, I want to take some time to talk about classes. What are classes? Well, they are one of the fundamental pieces used in object-oriented programming. They define and give an object, which is just a piece of data, an identity. Each object has some value that it holds. For example, a person can hold a value for their hair color, age, ethnicity, or their role at their job. Now you may be wondering, why is this important for me? Well, after we create an object using a class, we can do whatever we want with this object, like change certain things. For example, their age. Once we have multiple objects, we can organize them in a way where we can read them quickly and change them if we need to. We can organize them by age or job title, and only those objects that have the value you desire will appear. Just about anything that you can interact with using a computer was most likely made using classes. I just want to thank you for your time. Thank you.
Everybody you've heard so far are students looking for their first opportunity. Now we're going to hear from a set of students that are apprentices already in a formal program. All of these next students are going to start their careers at Paycor, a local company here for those who are out of town. All of the students do exactly the same curriculum, so there's no difference there. It's just the Apprenti program here in Cincinnati has become very popular, and the students you'll next are part of that program. We want to thank here at Max, we want to thank Paycor for the opportunity to instruct these new students that will be part of their development teams. We also want to thank the Apprenti program here for working with us to allow us to train and educate these students and so on, and for their confidence that we will give them talented developers for their staffs and so on. And so what we're going to do, we're going to have a few more speak live, and then we're going to have one last one that's going to be done with a video, because it was a long way for this student to be involved in our boot camp. We'll get that at the very end. So now we're going to start with Andrew.
Hi, everyone. I'm Andrew, and I'm one of the incoming software developers at Paycor. I just wanted to say a huge thank you to Paycor and Apprenti and everyone for the opportunity to go through the boot camp. It's been a great experience, and we've learned a ton over the past 400 hours or so that we've been in class. Some personal highlights for me were really the full stack curriculum, and just in particular seeing how SQL, C# and Angular fit together into the final project. I also wanted to thank Greg for his instruction. I think the curriculum was very well designed and very practical. And I'm really excited to be joining Paycor in the new year, and thanks so much, everyone.
Hi, my name is Brandon Davis, and I'm an incoming apprentice at Paycor. Prior to this, I spent 6 years in the legal industry, but I think software development has helped me finally find the perfect balance between my penchant for analytical work and my desire to be creative. I would like to thank Apprenti, Paycor, and Max for this amazing opportunity. The curriculum was very thorough. I think Greg did a great job of showing us both the most up-to-date best practices, as well as the various implementations that we might actually encounter in the real world. I'm really excited to be joining the team at Paycor, and I look forward to building upon this foundation as I transition into my career. Thank you.
My name is Shantae, and I am a recent graduate of the Max Technical Institute. I participated in their very thorough full stack coding bootcamp, learning over 20 different technologies, some of which include SQL, C# and .NET, Java, JavaScript, Angular, HTML, and CSS. Before enrolling in the bootcamp, I worked as an IT support analyst at Aptos IT Solutions. And while there, I learned many industry best practices for troubleshooting software as a user. However, after about a year and a half, I decided I wanted more out of my IT career, and I wanted a better understanding of software processes and why they are troubleshooted the way that they are. This led me to looking into more involved IT opportunities with the technologies that I use and work with on the daily. I came upon Apprenti, an IT recruiting organization that specializes in training their apprentices for guaranteed positions with reputable companies, my company being Paycor. Because of my help desk background, I think I have, or I know I have a unique understanding of the types of issues that can arise as with software as a user. And coupling that knowledge with my coding training, I know that I can provide a very professional and cohesive experience in my future position. And I am very excited for my new opportunity of learning and growing with Paycor. I want to thank Paycor for taking a leap of faith in me and my fellow Apprenti colleagues. I wouldn't be in this position today without your support and belief in me. I have come so far, and I wouldn't be here. Or sorry, I've come really far. And if you would have asked me a year ago, did I think I would be a web developer, I would have chuckled at the idea. And with all the trials that I've gone through while being in this boot camp, I want to give a special thanks to the Max staff, especially Greg, and just with his mindful and patient teaching style, I was able to successfully complete the curriculum and gain the necessary skills needed for my future position with Paycor. I am very excited about this opportunity and I'm truly grateful. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jason Ryan. I recently relocated to Texas for a fresh start after being honorably discharged from the U.S. Army. While deciding on what my next purpose would be, my desire for solving problems as a member of a team directed me towards software development. Upon doing some research, I found the Apprenti program that would assess my skills in order to be trained as a full stack developer by Max Technical Training. While this process has been challenging, it has also been very rewarding. I am extremely grateful for this entire experience and opportunity, and I'm eager to apply the knowledge I've gained with my new employer, Paycor. Thank you.
Hello, my name is LaShonda, and I have a career hyper-focused in IT, and having completed this MAXIMUM Bootcamp where we've learned both Java and .NET, I look forward to using my education, skills, and natural strengths to help innovate and collaborate with colleagues. And I am proud to say that I am working towards becoming a certified professional Scrum Master and to be launching my career as a software developer at Paycor through the Apprenti program. And one of the technologies I'm going to talk about is C#, which is one of the most versatile development languages out there. It can be used to build web apps, enterprise cross-platform applications, mobile apps, and is also used for game development too. C# is a very good language and can be used for building small to very large applications. It's very powerful, and I've enjoyed learning it here at the Max Bootcamp. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ryan Heinrich. I graduated with a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree from the Boston Conservatory, and I've spent much of my career in the arts, initially as a professional actor and singer, and more recently as both a theatrical director and a music director. It's been in these roles that I've been able to apply my inherent attention to fine detail, as well as my interest in emerging technologies in the arts. And it's been these traits coupled with my lifelong love of computers that led me to pursue a new career in software development, and here to Max Technical Training. With their excellent instruction, I've been able to complete a full stack software development course. I'd like to truly thank Paycor and Apprenti for this amazing life-changing opportunity, and I look forward to continuing my development through this program to fully launch my career as a full stack developer. Thank you.
Okay, so if you give me one more second here, we have to set up a quick video, and we want to, this is really kind of a special thing because this video is going to be from Nick, and Nick joined us throughout the boot camp from the state of Hawaii.
Hi, my name is Nick Borum. I just want to thank Paycor for putting me through the Apprenti program to start my tech career with software engineering. And I look forward to start working with the rest of my peers in my cohort. Everyone take care. Thank you.
Okay, and that was all the way from Honolulu, I believe, and so on. So, and now I'm going to turn it back to Annette.
I told you you'd be impressed, and it truly is a group of graduates that we are so proud of. And just wanted to take just maybe 5 more minutes and just give honor where honor's due. We'd like to just thank the organizations that have hired recently the Max grads, those being Matthews Automation Solutions. TQL has hired multiple of our students, iWater and ADM. So we want to also thank the folks that have come and spoke to our students this boot camp, those being Engage Partners, Insight, Reynolds and Reynolds, and JP Morgan Chase. And if you're an employer here with us today and would like the opportunity to speak to the students in an upcoming boot camp, just let me know. We'd love to have you. Key to this boot camp success, as several of the students have mentioned, is really a collaborative staff. Kim Peace is the boot camp liaison. She's really the glue that holds us all together. Greg Dowd, of course, is our lead instructor. Kelsey Apple, who delivered the Scrum training. Mike Smith, who taught Azure. And we can't forget Michelle Jowers, who was our TA during this boot camp. We want to say to you all to have a happy holiday, be well. And we look forward to those of you who've secured a time to do virtual speed interviewing with our grads. So we'll look forward to seeing you soon. You guys have a great day. Thanks again for joining us. Bye-bye.